Everybody ready here? Well, good afternoon or good morning. I guess it's still morning. Still morning for another 45 minutes. I just finished a tour of what will be the new home of the Brooklyn Nets. And let me just tell you, I am glad I already have my tickets for next season. As a matter of fact, it was pointed out to me where they are going to be. There are no chairs there, so for a moment, if I went to them, I'd have to stand. But presumably between now and the fall, they'll put some seats in, and we're going to have a good chance to watch great basketball in a wonderful arena. What strikes you when you look down there is everything's close to the court. It reminds me of the Cyclones stadium at Coney Island, where you feel like you're right on the field. And I think all the seats here, whether you're at the very top or right at courtside, you're going to feel that you have a contact with the players that you can't get in any other stadium that I have seen. In the regular NBA season, the Barclays Center will host 41 games. But let me point out that Barclays will be more than the home of the Nets. It's going to be a world-class, all-around indoor arena. The first new one in New York City in more than 44 years, and the first one New York City has ever built outside of Manhattan. In its first year alone, coming up, right after it opens, Barclays will host 220 different events, including major concerts, hockey games, and fashion shows. So just think about what this is doing for New York City, and particularly for Brooklyn and people that live on Long Island who can get here as some of the best mass transit any place. All the mass transit you'd ever need goes right under here. It's easy to get here, and there's going to be an awful lot of events for people no matter what your interests are, whether it's sports or music, culture, however you want to define it. This is going to be one of the iconic places, one of the places to really come and to be entertained. And we want to make sure, incidentally, that this is going to mean more than just that. It also means a lot of economic growth, more tax revenue, and more jobs. And I did want to focus on the jobs. We want to make sure that the men and women who live in the Brooklyn communities closest to this new arena have the opportunity to apply for those jobs. So we're not just putting up a help wanted sign. Beginning next week, we are actually going to go into neighborhoods to actively recruit candidates to fill approximately 2,000 jobs. Thank you. Now, the city's Department of Small Business Services and the New York City Housing Authority will team up with Forest City Ratner Companies and Barclays Center partners, including management company AEG and Levy Restaurants, as well as local nonprofit groups, Brooklyn United for Innovative Local Development, or as it's commonly called, BUILD, and the Public Housing Communities, Inc., to begin filling these positions. And these jobs include sales reps and security guards and food service associates, accountants, purchase managers, and arena directors. And we can't we can't depend on a one-size-fits-all model to fill them. So that's why we formed this unique partnership, and it's why we're taking every opportunity to see if there aren't steps we can have to ensure that local residents have every opportunity to get these jobs. They're going to have to be qualified, they're going to have to be the best, but we're going to reach out to local residents first. And I think given the diversity and the population of Brooklyn, people that love to live and really are Brooklynites, this group is going to have a great opportunity to get jobs, and Barclays is going to have a great opportunity to have a wonderful workforce. First, we are recruiting for these jobs through the city's Workforce One career centers, including the two that we have here in Brooklyn. If you remember, at the start of our administration, there was only one Workforce One career center. We've now launched a total of 15 centers in all 5 boroughs, including 8 that have opened since last July. And they include large standalone centers, smaller centers located in public libraries, and centers focused on specific industries. Many of these centers offer personalized career counseling, advice on job interviewing, and expert assistance in crafting resume and cover letters. And for New Yorkers looking to boost their qualifications or language skills, our centers also offer funding for occupational training. And we've also expanded our online presence. Whether you're looking to get one of these new jobs or move up in your current career, I did want to encourage people to visit nyc.gov to learn more about our workforce initiatives. Just to show how well they're working, in 2011, Workforce One Centers partnered with hundreds of local businesses and connected to New Yorkers to more than 35,000 jobs. And now we're going to help more Brooklyn residents find jobs right here in their community. Second, the Nets, you should know, are giving priority for these positions to residents who live in the neighboring communities, graduates of Build Training Program, and NYCHA residents who live in the nearby Ingersoll, Whitman, Farragut, Atlantic Terminal, Wyckoff Gardens, Warren Street, Lafayette Gardens, and Gowanus houses. And beginning next week, Forest City, Radnor, and Barclays will begin meeting with the local community boards and elected leaders who represent the neighboring communities. Third, we will hold job fairs for these positions in June and July, and we'll choose the site for those fairs after consulting with local community groups. Now, the Barclays Center really is the crown jewel of the Atlantic Yards, and when it's completed, it's going to help make this area of Brooklyn one of the most dynamic environments anywhere in the world. The shopping and restaurants in downtown Brooklyn and cultural attractions like the Brooklyn Academy of Music, which will host several events here at Barclays, are all very nearby. We're walking distance from four of our city's most vibrant neighborhoods: Park Slope, Boerum Hill, Clinton Hill, and Fort Greene. We're at the intersection where the commuter trains from Long Island arrive in Brooklyn and where many of our subway lines converge. And all of Midtown and downtown Manhattan, not to mention a huge swath of Long Island, is no more than a 20-minute train ride away. So this new center is going to be not only a major asset to Brooklyn, but it's going to be a big economic contributor for all New York City, too. And it's going to be another of the major attractions for the millions of people who visit our city each year. Making this day possible, as you can imagine, as you have read about, took a lot of hard work and dedication from a lot of people. But the driving vision behind this building and this arena belongs to one man in particular, and that's Forest City Radnor Company's chairman and CEO, Bruce Radnor. He is a neighbor of mine. He's a friend of mine. This is a guy who's made an enormous difference, and every day when I walk out of City Hall, I think of you when I look at your apartment building right across the street. You want to say a few things?
There's still some vacancies.
Still some vacancies if anybody wants.
You can do it. You can do it with your seats also, Mr. Mayor. I always like that. Well, thank you all for being here, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. And it really is, honestly, without the confidence of the mayor. The first time we showed this project to the mayor, he really thought it ought to be something that should be done in Brooklyn. It's been a long struggle, but we got there, and without the mayor's support, the city's support, our borough president, Marty Markowitz's support, without all the people sitting here, this could have never been done. We have some special people I just want to call out, obviously the mayor and Marty, but we also have Commissioner Walsh here. Right over here. Thank you for all your work. And he's a Brooklynite, and he's going to be helping us with our jobs. We also have Commissioner Rhea, who is head of NYCHA. And we're going to start one of our job fairs in one of the NYCHA neighboring communities. I insisted on that. That's very, very important. We've got to employ everybody in the city, whether you live in a NYCHA community or you live in our Geary building. No matter what, you've got to be employed. So there have been a lot of people that have gotten this done. It took a long time. A few things I want to mention. We have with us the Community Benefits Agreement Group. I want to call out a couple people in particular. James Caldwell from Build. I'm calling out these individuals because they're going to be involved in these jobs. As many of you know, Build has worked very hard to train people, continues to train people, placed people in an impossible economy, and James Caldwell has really led that and led it brilliantly. And of course, Charlie Nimmons from Public Housing Communities is here. Where is it? Oh, okay. You can't see so well with this beautiful light coming from our opening here. So thank you, Charlie. Now, I just want to comment, where are we? We're right now in the atrium, the grand entrance to this arena. Unlike most arenas, it has a grand entrance. It's bright and big, and it's transparent. You can see right into the bowl. Now, why do I mention that? Decades, 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now, all during that period of time, millions of people will be coming through right where you are here. And yet today is one of the most important days in the history of this arena. You'll have championships here, whether it be basketball, whether you have college, boxing, equestrian acts, everything in the possible world you'll have here. And yet it's one of the most important days. It's one of the most important days because we're hiring 2,000 people that are local residents. And that's what makes it really important. And as we stand here, we're going to be greeted by ushers and porters and ticket takers from our own communities. People who have been trained by Disney, people who have been trained by AEG and Levy. And that's very, very important because one of the really important things is that the right hospitality, and what better kind of hospitality than having it from your neighbors who work here. So 2,000 people will be hired. 2,000 people will be hired for this arena to work in this arena, and that's really, really major. And that's along with the 800 to 900 jobs, construction jobs, that we have working here every single day, great union jobs, well-paying union jobs, along with the thousands of others that work off-site, whether it be the truck driver, whether it be the company that cuts the steel, whether it be the company that works in Queens that does the HVAC tin here. So this is a construction site which not only has 800 people here, but thousands of others that you don't see. So that's what I really want you to understand. This really is about jobs. And so I'd like to just close by saying part of what our company always, from the very beginning, was very important to have jobs as a key aspect of our company. We call ourselves a civic developer because jobs have always been important, whether it be 15,000 jobs at Metrotech or 2,500 jobs across the street working in our 2 shopping centers, or among 14 shopping centers built in these boroughs where we have over 5,000 other jobs. Jobs are what it's about. And so I'm honored to be part of that and be happy today. I'm so happy today to be announcing. I've really been looking forward to this day, honestly, for 8 years. I really have been. 2,000 local jobs. So I know you have too. You've been very patient, everybody. So thank you for your patience. And one of the most impatient people in the world who got me to kind of do this, and I'm glad he did, is our wonderful borough president, Marty Markowitz. So Marty, please.
That's all right. No problem. You'll notice some of the steel's being moved out there, just like you said it was going to be. I didn't know you'd do it right away. Let me now welcome the man who's spearheading our administration's efforts to connect more New Yorkers to jobs and support our city's small businesses, Small Business Service Commissioner Rob Walsh. Rob?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to Bruce and his team. Mary Ann, it's nice to see you again. This is exciting. I could stand here and listen to Bruce all day, talk about the vision for Brooklyn and how much he's done, from the work at the Downtown Brooklyn Partnership and what has happened at Fulton Mall and Metrotech to the work that has taken place here. This is not the first time that we've teamed up with Bruce Ratner and his team at Forest City. When Atlantic Terminal was being built out and expanded a couple of years ago, Forest City came to us and said they wanted to make linkages to the surrounding zip codes and communities. And that you did. And hundreds of jobs were created and hundreds of jobs went to the local community. So we're building off of that track record. As the mayor mentioned, we have more workforce centers than ever before. We've taken it, we've gone 5 boroughs, and here in Brooklyn we now have one at the Brooklyn Public Library, the main branch, and also right here at 9 Bond Street, and we're going to be using that to the full capacity. I'm excited to be working with John Ray. I'm excited to be working with Build. My friend Mr. Caldwell here, we've worked on many of other projects together. This is a real exciting day, and I think the fact that Forest City, the commitment that they're making to the local community to make those connections on jobs speaks volumes to the work that they've done in the city. So I want to thank you, and Marty Markowitz, the new starting point guard for the Brooklyn Nets. It will be very exciting to see him in uniform. Thank you.
We want to sell tickets, please.
Thank you, Rob. NYCHA Chairman John Rea has made resident employment a cornerstone of his efforts to improve the quality of life for our city's public housing communities. And John, will you say a few words?
Thank you, Mayor Bloomberg. Good morning, everyone. And on behalf of the New York City Housing Authority, I really want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Mayor Bloomberg, Bruce Ratner, and his whole team at Forest City's Ratner, Barclays, and the Brooklyn Borough President, Marty Markowitz, who's been a great partner to public housing residents throughout Brooklyn for a very long time. Also to Commissioner Walsh, who's been working very hard to connect NYCHA residents to employment and the wonderful work they're doing through the Workforce One centers. The total commitment to this neighborhood is staggering, especially as Commissioner Walsh said, the effort that the team at Forest City Ratners has done to connect local residents to meaningful employment with real opportunities for growth, not just here at the arena, but beyond. I want to applaud what Public Housing Communities and Charlene Nimmons, the leader, has really done there to ensure, let's give her another round of applause, that NYCHA communities are part of this growth and this incredible opportunity. We can't do it on our own, and there have been so many other partners like Build and others who really have embraced the work that we're doing in public housing here in downtown Brooklyn, Fort Greene, the Sunset Park communities, all that have contributed so vitally to the rebirth and the vibrancy of these neighborhoods. There are more than almost 20,000 public housing residents that live in those three surrounding communities alone, and it's important that they see this as not only an opportunity for excitement and entertainment and the economic vitality of the area, but also as an opportunity for their individual families to prosper and to benefit from that growth. In the last few years, NYCHA has made a big, strong effort to really connect our public-private partnerships to support our families, to guide them to financial independence, and to make sure that opportunities like today don't bypass public housing residents as well. Through our Office of Resident Economic Empowerment and Sustainability, which we refer to as REASE, we're implementing a new economic empowerment model where we coordinate the resources in the community and ensure that they are having the kinds of benefits for public housing residents that we all know is so important to families having the kind of economic mobility that we all want for our New Yorkers. Reese is really charged with extending the incredible work the Bloomberg administration has done in connecting people to employment through the Small Business Services team, but also in bridging the gaps to ensure that people have the skills necessary to take advantage of those job opportunities when they present themselves. Last year alone, Reese connected 1,000 NYCHA residents to employment, and of those 1,000 residents that were connected through our efforts, 500 of them alone were right here in Brooklyn. We think that's a great start, but we are totally confident that the 2,000 jobs that are being created here today is another big step in that process of ensuring that NYCHA residents are part of this incredible opportunity. So thanks so much to the mayor, thanks so much to Rob, thanks so much to Charlene Nimmons, and thank you to Forest City Radnor and all our partners.
John, thank you. Now, I'm sure you all know that today is Poem in Your Pocket Day. So in honor of this occasion, I have a few lines that I would like to share with you. Coming to Brooklyn is always a party. Raising the roof, just me and Marty. But with the Nets, much better it'll be. Forget about Marty and me, it's Jay-Z.
Very good.
Borough President Marty Markowitz has always been a strong supporter, as you know, of this project from the very beginning. Marty, you'd like to share a few words with us?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Mayor. First off, let me say wow. That's the first thing. Just wow. 8 years. I can't wait for September, that's for sure. Cousin Brucey, I must say, to your great team, to Mary Ann Gilmartin, Bob Santa, and all the folks that work at Forest City Radnor. Believe me, I know what we all went through, and you went through it a lot worse in terms of the financial crises and everything else. And just like Build, you kept the faith. You kept the faith because you knew Brooklyn was worth it, and believe me, it is big time. So to all the residents of our community that also stayed the course, I congratulate you. James, Maria is looking down on us for sure this morning and afternoon. Robert Walsh, thank you, and John Rave, thank you. Charlene Nimmons for your outstanding leadership. Now, I wrote this very carefully with help from some basketball Michiganers in my office, so here we go. I'm thrilled to be here today because Brooklyn is definitely in fuego. In just a few short months, Brooklyn will have hit another game winner as the new home of the Brooklyn Nets, the borough's first professional sports team since the Dodgers relocated to La La Land in 1957. I won't take Governor Christie's attitude about the Nets coming to Brooklyn as a flagrant foul, but it's a foul nonetheless. That's okay, though. Jersey's net loss is Brooklyn's net gain. because we're all able to watch the Brooklyn Nets mop up the floor with the Manhattan Knicks. And besides, as far as I'm concerned, New Jersey still has the Prudential Center in Newark, which the governor said, and I quote, in one of the country's most vibrant cities. Enough said. But the Barclays Center means more than just exciting in-your-face Brooklyn-style basketball and world-class entertainment like Andrea Bocelli and Jay-Z, Disney on Ice, Barnum and Bailey Circus, and stay tuned, the best is yet to come. There's plenty on its way. I've always said that this arena will create thousands of excellent-paying jobs, and here they come. A promise made, and a promise will be kept. With the help of Forest City, Ratner, and Barclays Center's many partners, including AEG and Levy Restaurants, the Barclays Center will provide not only lobs, but jobs. Now, roughly 2,000 New Yorkers, Brooklynites, will have good jobs, and priority placement will be given to those living nearby in NYCHA housing. By the way, Chairman, you know I grew up in public housing as well. Exactly the type of jobs this city needs for those who want to already climb up the rankings. Not only that, this arena will bring money and create jobs for the many local businesses in the surrounding area around the arena, and will provide services for the arena's many, many events. And to the thousands of incoming visitors, mean that the businesses around the arena will also flourish big time. Now that's a slam dunk we can all enjoy. Congratulations to all and to Brooklyn. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marty. Before opening the floor to questions, just let me summarize today's announcements for our Spanish-speaking New Yorkers. Hoy anunciamos un acuerdo importante con el nuevo estadio, the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Ayudamos a 2,000 noriqueños a conseguir empleos en el nuevo estadio. Los puestos abiertos incluyen representantes de ventas, guardias de seguridad, contadores y mucho más. Residentes locales tendrán prioridad para estos trabajos. And with that, we'll be happy to take some questions if anybody has any. Yes, miss.
Of those
A little louder just because there's a lot of noise.
Of those 2,000 jobs, do you know how many are full-time versus part-time? And also, you said you give them priority to people who live in the neighborhoods, but is there a number or a goal of how many will go to those neighborhoods?
Can you...
About 90%, maybe 1,800, 1,900 are part-time, up to 30 hours a week, and the remainder, 150 to 200, are full-time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, you announced that most or not all of the jobs will be going to those who live nearby. Two-part question. How much city money has gone into this project in the beginning? And if city money has gone in, how many employees might be considered who live in the outer boroughs from Brooklyn?
What is the procedure for people applying and getting jobs and selection? You want to talk about that?
Look, we're going to, as the mayor said, as Bruce Ratner said, the focus is going to be here in the surrounding neighborhoods. That does not mean that we're not going to be accepting applications from the other boroughs. I mean, we've done that in other places. I think the project across the street speaks for itself. When Atlantic Terminal was being built out, we concentrated, we focused hard, we looked at the community-based organizations. The difference here is a much more concentrated effort in working with John Ray and his team at the Housing Authority, and I think Bruce Ratner said that, and I think you'll see that in the numbers.
Okay, let me make one other comment. Make one comment. The other thing is, it depends on what kind of job. So if you look at the union construction jobs here, you've probably got maybe 160 out of 800 from Brooklyn. The majority of the rest come from other boroughs and areas. So if they're construction jobs, because it's union and got seniority, they're likely to come from the whole city. If they're local jobs, like a retail job or job here, you're likely to be people close that are going to apply for the jobs and you're going to give the jobs to. Depends what kind of job. So the entire city shares in so many different ways. And as I said, there's so many off-site jobs. You look at the tin up here that's made, I think that's made in Queens, for example. So it's the whole city, really. In fact, a lot of the whole country. The steel's probably mined in Minnesota. So.
And the other part of your question, the city's put in about $200 million in capital funds to this. Yes, Miss.
in effect today, this is the type of project that
I can't hear you. Please, you got to speak louder, right into the microphone. Sorry.
Had the living wage bill been in effect today, this is the type of project that might have triggered it. So do you know how much these 2,000 employees will be making?
I don't know what the wages are, but they're competitive.
Yeah. I think they're going to vary, based on the skill set. The good thing about this is it's not just entry-level jobs that Bruce Ratner's talking about. He's talking about, middle management jobs, management jobs. It's across the board. So it's going to vary based on the skill sets of the individuals.
Yes, sir.
Only a few months ago, the number of being bounced around for the number of jobs here was maybe 1,500. Where are the additional 500 jobs coming from?
I didn't hear
He said a few months ago he was told there was 1,500 jobs being created. Now it's 2,000. Where'd the extra 500 come from?
I don't know where you got the 1,500 from, and I don't know. But they're part-time jobs, so this is an important point. At any one time, you'll have at most 800 people in the arena because they're part-time jobs. People's schedules vary, so there are about 800 people at one time in this arena, say on a major event, less on a lesser event. So I think that's the way to look at it.
Were there more full-time jobs under the 1,500 number?
I'm not sorry, Rich. I don't understand.
When it was 1,500 jobs, were there more full-time jobs?
Has the number of full-time jobs changed?
No, nothing has really changed. I'm not clear where the 1,500 came from. I have to really know,
Yes,
Rich,
sir.
but thank you.
I had a question for Mr. Ratner. Brooklyn is sort of such a distinctive place, and yet you guys chose to stick with the Nets name. Why didn't you come up with a more Brooklyn-specific brand for the team? And then a follow-up to Mr. Markowitz, are you disappointed that there isn't a more Brooklyn-specific name for the team?
Can I answer that first? I'll answer the first part. As long as the first part of the name, the rest of it, I'm sorry.
There was a lot of discussion about it, and first of all, Marty said the first and important thing. The primary brand is Brooklyn, Brooklyn, Brooklyn. It really is. Second, I think there was a lot of debate, and surveys were taken, and I think the results came out that there is a legacy to the Nets. They do have a legacy. There are a lot of fans that have followed them for years that are in a region. It's not like we're moving to the West Coast or something. So that was a lot of work was done and research done to make a decision to keep it the Nets.
Yes, sir. Wait until the microphone comes. Nobody can hear you.
Okay. Do you have any kind of figures on how many jobs will be created by the residential component and any timetable for construction on it?
Residential component.
Yeah, so I can kind of answer it in reverse timetable. We hope to start construction by the end of this year, the beginning of next year, on the first residential building. I would say an average residential building of 300 or 400 units has probably 15 to 20 employees, so 16 buildings. I don't want to make a guess, but it's about 15 to 20 for employees for a building of 300 to 400 units. So.
Yes, sir?
That's permanent jobs, not
permanent. Those are permanent jobs, full-time jobs. Yes, sir. Wait until talk to the microphone. Otherwise, we can't hear you.
Okay. Many residents in the area say they're worried that the streets, the quiet brownstone tree-lined streets will be swamped with people on game days and other event days, and that the city and the state have done very little to make sure that the streets can handle both the car traffic and the pedestrian
Well,
traffic.
most of the people here are going to be on the main streets. Most of the people are going to come by mass transit. One of the advantages of this location is that it has some of the best mass transit. This mass transit to this stadium is equivalent to the mass transit under Madison Square Garden. And most people that go to Madison Square Garden don't drive. There just aren't parking places. They take mass transit. And so I don't think those fears are going to be I think people will realize that's not really something that's going to happen. The stores here want more traffic, and there will be more traffic for those in the commercial businesses, and that's what you want to have. You want to bring more people to the neighborhood, so we create more jobs. Yes, sir, back there. We'll wait for the microphone.
Good morning. On behalf of the public housing residents, I'd like to say thank you for coming to Brooklyn. We're looking forward to it. My question is, will there or is there going to be an initiative to help or assist public housing residents in obtaining the advanced level jobs, not only the entry level jobs?
You want to, Rob?
Sure. Thanks for asking that. Absolutely. The goal is to ensure that public housing residents have opportunities at all the jobs that Bruce and his team discussed. And one of the things that Charlene Nimmons and her team and the team at Build are doing is ensuring that we understand what are the skill sets required for the various positions that will be created here at the arena and with suppliers to the arena. Because in addition to the 800 permanent jobs here, as Bruce mentioned, there are jobs in the broader community and through the supplier network. And so our goal is to understand those jobs, to understand what the requirements are, and to work with our resident economic empowerment and sustainability team to ensure that we're actually giving residents opportunities at real training that will lead to long-term placement.
Last question on topic right there, sir. Why don't you stay back there with the microphone since the people are over here and you're going to have to go back and forth. Yes?
Mayor, this is not pertaining to the arena. I live out in Far Rockaway, and we have one hospital that's open and people losing lives out there.
You got to talk to the state. I mean, they're the ones that are really trying to find a solution to the problem that these smaller hospitals just economically can't survive, and yet we do need to have you be able to get to emergency services if you have something, a stroke or a heart attack. And that's the conundrum that the state has, and they have a hospital closing commission, and they're trying to work their ways through it. There are a couple of hospitals that are or have been closed simply because they just weren't up to the standards where it was dangerous for people to go there. And so we're trying to work that out. If you look at a map, the Rockaways are separate. It really is different. I understand that. The question is how if you don't have the scale to support a big teaching hospital or a big hospital with lots of equipment and doctors with different specialties, how you solve that. And we're working with them. All right, we'll go back here to this gentleman, sir.
Mayor, can we ask you, for the last couple of years, every time that we go to an unemployment office and we ask those who are unemployed, what is the job market like right now in New York City? Their constant complaint is that the jobs that are out there are menial, part-time, low-paying. What do you tell those people who would look at these 2,000 jobs here and think, well 90% of them are like
if you look at the country, it's not just in New York. There are jobs in the middle that have been automated out of existence because they tend to be repetitive, and there are jobs in the middle where you don't have to be by your customer, your supplier, and they will move to other places. And then at the two extremes, there are jobs that require a very high level of skills, junior college, or even more than that. And then there are jobs at the other end where the main thing is you have to be able to interact with the people you're serving. If you're a home health care worker, you have to be in the home. If you are driving a bus, you've got to be on the bus. And one of the problems we're having in this country, and not just in this country, in the world, is trying to find a solution to that problem. But the good news here in New York City is we keep growing. The unemployment rate is very misleading. Unemployment rate is calculated by a telephone survey, and it tends to go up when the economy gets better, not down. And the reason it goes up is a lot of people who don't think they could get jobs, when they hear or feel the economy is better, say, okay, now I'm going to look for a job. The truth of the matter is New York City has created more jobs. We have a record number of jobs. The highest we had before this, I think, was in 1969, and today we have more jobs in the city. Now, more people are going to come here looking for jobs, and more people who are here and haven't been looking are going to try to go into the workforce. So we're going to have a higher unemployment rate, I think, than a lot of other places. But our real focus is as long as we keep creating jobs for people, that's what we've got to do. Will the people without a great skill set have jobs that are high paying? Probably not. What in this country we talk about an income inequality. It is not an income inequality. It is an education inequality. And the example you should look at is, why does it take a two-breadwinner family today to be middle class, where 40, 50 years ago it was a one-breadwinner family that could do exactly that? And the reason is all in education. If you look, other countries are starting to have great schools, great universities, great public schools, and they are becoming much more productive at a much greater rate than we are doing in America. We stopped improving our productivity 20, 30 years ago, and the education system started going downhill and certainly not growing and improving as fast as the rest of the world. And that's really what you see out there, and it's a great challenge, and the answer is to go back to the basics, education, in the meantime, getting people the experience they need and working. Yes, sir. Sorry, after telling you to stay over there with a... Who knew he was going to be over there where you were?
Could you tell us the number of full-time equivalent jobs here?
I don't have any idea what that is, what they are. Bruce, you want to... Full-time equivalent jobs, I don't know how you... It's really different. It's hard to calculate. If the average person works 30 hours and you say a full-time job is 40 hours... then you would just take 3/4 of the 2,000 number. The state can say anything they want. I don't know. That's fine. What has that got to do with their numbers? Maybe the numbers are right, maybe the numbers are wrong. Address it to the state. Don't address it. Okay.
We've created one more job. That's a job for you. So that's the good news. So that's all. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Anything else? Yes, sir. Other topic. We'll be happy to take another topic. Stu is desperate to get to other topics.
Mr. Mayor, Christine Quinn says that your administration in 2002 supported what amounted to a living wage, prevailing wage for daycare workers, home health care aides. So why are you now criticizing the council for the living wage and prevailing wage they're going to pass and have
Look,
passed?
the same people that want to give subsidies and have taxpayers subsidize people's workers complain about us giving money to capital projects. We'll have to give more money to capital projects if the wages that are paid for those projects are higher. The truth of the matter is you cannot go and change the marketplace. We have a worldwide market, and you have to be able to, companies have to be able to afford the labor, or they will not go and hire them. There are some people who have had wages so low that they can't possibly survive. I'm in favor of raising the minimum wage because it does it for everybody. But picking and choosing individual industries and saying, because I like you, I'm going to remove you from the restriction to raise your wages, and other industries saying I'm going to force you to pay more, is just not an economic plan that makes any sense whatsoever. And if you take a look at the best example, I think, is Fresh Direct. They knew Fresh Direct would just not go to the Bronx if they had a living wage. So they deliberately wait to pass the bill until Fresh Direct is in, and it exempts anything before the bill is passed. The truth of the matter is we all want to see people be able to earn greater wages, higher wages and salaries. But the ways to raise their salaries is not for the government to impose legislative mandates on some businesses and not others. It's for governments to foster broad-based kind of growth that gives people economic opportunities to climb up the ladder. And that's why we've been working so hard over the past 10 years to do that, and we're going to continue to do that. We have created more jobs in New York City at a faster rate than any place in the rest of the country. We've come back and replaced something like 185% of the jobs that were lost during the recession. I think the national average is something like 42%. So what we're going to continue to do is to try to invest where we can, and then if some companies like this right where we're standing, if they want to make a deal with their employees to pay more, they have a right to do that. It just shouldn't be the government forcing people to do it. It's not subject to, they've made a deal. They pay, I think you pay...
You're talking about the wage rate?
Yes.
Wage. What Jeff Dunn said is, obviously we're going to hire employees. They will likely organize into a union. Highly likely this will be unionized, and they'll negotiate a wage. So it'll be above a living wage, I'm sure. I know. So.
But that's not the government forcing them to do it. And if we had forced them to do it, we would have had to give them more of a subsidy to get this thing going. Yes, sir. All right, go around. Now then they'll guarantee the next question's on the other side.
Two-part question for you. First, your reaction to Governor Christie's telling the Nets basically good riddance a couple of days ago.
I couldn't hear you. Governor Christie.
Telling the Nets good riddance couple of days ago.
You know, Governor Christie has always been willing to say what he wants to say. He's a big sports fan. I know. I've seen him at Madison Square Garden. Sports fans tend to say what they think, and he's got a right to do that. That's good. Talk to him. He's disappointed. We're happy. Okay, you win some, you lose some. I was happy that the Mets won yesterday. I was disappointed that the Yankees won.
Second thing, the Islanders.
I lost, I mean.
The Islanders.
The Mets won, Yankees lost. That's it.
Islanders are having some arena issues, as you know, as well. Is this arena, in your mind, a viable option for them to come out here and play hockey, would you say?
You know, that's up to Barclays Center to try to attract people. This is an arena that is built so that they can have hockey here. And the more teams that are in New York, the better they are. I'm going to the Rangers game tonight, taking my youngest daughter. So I'll be there. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Ratner, on that note, the mayor's response regarding a hockey team here. Has Mr. Wang or any of his people contacted you with regard to exploring the Islanders coming to Brooklyn?
Yeah, Charles Wang is a friend. I talk to him all the time. We've talked about it for years, and I think the major goal is to make sure first that a team stays in New York State, and after that we'll just see what happens.
One more, somebody, yes, miss.
You said that the council deliberately delayed the living wage bill so that Fresh Direct wouldn't fall under it, and I assume by the council that would have to be Chris Quinn since she runs the council. And then, you know, when they wrote the bill, they also exempted part of the Hudson Yards project because they thought that that would impact it in a way that would make it unworkable. If there's, you know, if Chris Quinn has some awareness that this would, you know, endanger certain projects that they wouldn't happen otherwise, why do you think she passed the bill?
I would suggest that you address that question to the speaker. All I know is I'm going to her wedding, and we're going to have a good time, and I don't think that living wage is going to come up as a subject at the wedding. Last questions.
I wondered if you could honor us with a recital of the poem you wrote for a Poem in Your Pocket Day.
Patty will be thrilled. Did Patty Harris call you and ask you to do this, or is this... Just checking, Patty. Sorry. All right. 50.5 million can't be wrong is the name of the poem that you saw me take out of my pocket. Here it is. Hey there, fella, lady, hey. Did you hear? It's Poem in Your Pocket Day. 10th anniversary, the bubbly's flowing, people are cheering, yelling, Tebowing. I didn't write this. We're best to celebrate this whole affair, the crossroads of the world, Times Square. Historic site of many a saga, and on New Year's Eve, one gaga. I thought you would laugh at that. Come on. From across the globe, they visit here 50.5 million last year. Waiting to see all their anticipated, just follow directions, it's not complicated. Bronx Zoo, take the 5 or the 2. Rockefeller Center, walk 6 blocks, then enter. Empire State, bus to 5th, then go straight. Ferry to Staten at the tip of Manhattan. Unisphere in Queens, get there via several means. New York Aquarium, too far for kids to walk, just carry them. Mamma Mia, right behind you, see ya. So on this big birthday of PIYP, have a fantastic day in NYC. Take in the town, there is so much here to do. Just have a poem in your pocket when you do, and I'll give this again in Times Square so it works. Thank you. Bruce, congratulations. All the best.
The poem
Marty?
is better than it all.